This video is sponsored by Beetleweight.
A little dance.
Incredible. Let's go, Seth.
Hey there, this is Seth Schaefer from Team Just Cause Robotics, and today is my event recap from the Norwalk Havoc tournament in April of 2022, where I competed with this bot here, Division version 3.1. Now, I want to skip through this because there are a lot of fights to get to. I'm actually going to have to split this recap up into two parts because I ended up doing really well at the tournament. Division finally showed what it can do properly for the first time ever. I was able to place 7th out of about 60 of the top competitive Beetleweights in the entire world. And that meant I got 5 wins with 1 forfeit win before ending up with 2 losses. My second of which was only to the tournament winning bot Lynx. So losing to him is not something that I am going to be upset about. Because I have 7 fights to get through, I'm going to do 3 in this episode and 4 in the next part, and I'm going to give you all of the details of what went wrong and what went right, what my strategy was going into each fight, as well as post-fight interviews, and you'll also get to see the damage that I caused to my opponents and the damage that they caused to me. For my first fight of the day, I was up against this Jolt kit called Lunch Break. Now, this is a kit sold by Absolute Chaos Robotics. I know that these exist, and so I had to make sure I had a plan for it. Fortunately, that plan is exactly the same as for the first fight that I had in March Norwalk Havoc when I was fighting a similar undercutter. So let's see how this went.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, here
Fight,
we go.
robots, fight.
All right, we've got a good spin up. Oh, no!
A big gouge out of the floor already. Oh!
Division's just kicked Lunch Break in the air. Finds itself on its head. Oh no, Seth! Here we go.
NBD. He's back in it.
All right,
Wow.
Lunch Break on its head.
Wow. So cool how it can just gyro dance right back up on its feet.
Tipping Lunch Break there into the corner. Oh, and that robot looks dead, Seth.
Yeah, look at
Tap
that.
out.
That
Here
bottom
we go.
armor got peeled right up.
All right, that is a quick tap out for Lunch Break. Division is your winner.
With a little dance.
Incredible. Let's go, Seth. Just an absolute showing of control there at the end. This is the most stable division that we've ever seen.
Right. Stable division generally means an unstable match.
Yeah. Let's go into a quick replay of this last match, Division versus Lunch Break. Ooh, we saw Seth kind of get tipped on his head early, but he brought the chaos here.
Yeah, he's definitely really dialed in now. You know, still able to use that gyro to his advantage, but it's not throwing his drive off the way we've seen in the past. Really impressive.
Look at that. Incredible.
So other than kind of messing up the box rush there, that fight went pretty much how I wanted it to go. I never really took a direct weapon hit to anywhere important on my bot. He got the side of my wedge right there, and that was pretty much the only hit that he really got on me that wasn't one that I had full control of. You will see, however, here, I found that the TPU back little fins were making it impossible to self-right with the weapon spinning the normal way, so I had to reverse the weapon and then switch it back. But fortunately, the Jolt kit decided to wait around for me to self-right and not actually capitalize on me being upside down, so I was able to quickly recover and come over here to deliver this kill shot that you'll see right here. This pretty much destroyed all of the wiring going to the power switch on the back of the kit, and it was dead. Pretty good fight to start out the day.
This is Division right after the Lunch Break fight. You can see it took a little bite out of my titanium wedge here, but it did its job to deflect most of the attacks pretty well. Looks like I didn't get any hit on the back or on the wheels, which is good. I was hoping to avoid those. Everything worked perfectly, really. I'm pretty happy with it. The self-righting is really awkward with the back, though. You can see the weapon's just kind of skipping off the ground now. So that's something I'll have to be careful of in the future.
This is Zach Orloff and Jack Revering from Lunch Break. So when the fight started, we still were having a little bit of trim issues, but I was able to drive around it. That didn't matter because it looks like the wedge of Division looks like it kind of put our robot up, and he got some good hits on us and ended up getting us stuck on the wall, and he took advantage of that, got some hits to the back, and completely removed one of these inserts from the bracket. So we might have to hammer that in because this is actually one of the parts that we didn't think was going to get damaged, so we didn't have spares of it. This thing got split, not too big of a deal because we have spares of those. What ended up killing our robot is the switch got unsoldered from the thing that actually connects it to the battery. It's right in there. You can see how it came out. Took all the solder with it. So that turned everything off. Killed one of our wheels too, I think, at some point, but we'll have to see that. So yeah, it was a good fight.
Yeah, great fight, dude.
Next up, I had to fight Dread Hades. Dread Hades is driven by Tyler Wynn of Perfect Phoenix fame on BattleBots, and because he is also, of course, mentored by Ray Billings, I got to sit and chat with him and Ray Billings for an hour leading up to this fight while we were stuck in the green room. Now, Dread Hades is a fingertech beater bar bot, but as with most beater bars, driving is really what makes the difference, and this was definitely not going to be an easy fight to win against one of the best drivers in the entire world.
The Seth Schaefer?
The Seth Schaefer, yes, absolutely.
8, 7, 6.
So we're going to
See a couple of familiar people there, too.
4,
Yeah, Division
3,
versus Dread Hades. Tyler Wynn, driver of Dread Hades. And whoa!
Oh, man.
So one of the things that we were really impressed with in Division's first match today was the mobility of that bot, something that traditionally been a problem with that bot, and just the giant weapon design.
Getting a little bit more control of some of that gyro.
But you know what? That mobility doesn't mean a whole lot when you're up against one of the very best drivers in the entire world. And
super resilient beater bar.
And just an aggressive style. If he's got you up in the air, expect to get hit at least one more time before you come back down when you're facing Tyler Wynn. You can see all of those little forks on the front of Division.
Wow. Camera has a hard time keeping up with
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh no. I think I see part of a weapon belt off of Division.
Oof. And that is how they self-right. So if that weapon is not powered, then they have no ability to self-right at all. It doesn't matter if they get a save from Bert in that particular case.
I can't tell if that's part of a belt or is that a wire?
Hard to tell, yeah.
Yeah.
Hard to tell. Oof. Look at that big hit there from Dread Hades. Dread Hades really good at using that front egg beater as an armor plate in and of itself. I mean, look at that. Absolutely gorgeous hit there. So much sawdust getting kicked up in that box. Division is terrible for your floor. Anytime that bot goes in there to fight, it is just awful for the floor. It does mean we're gonna have, let's go ahead back to Allie. Allie, standing by with these competitors.
I am. I'm following Seth here to grab his robot. I want to ask you, you knew you were going up against a very tough competitor. Did you go in with a certain strategy?
Well, I have this entire configuration for my robot designed specifically to fight beater bars like that one, because it turns out you can buy those for $40 on the internet, and a lot of people do that. So I have these hinged forks that are made out of 3/16-inch thick AR500 that are designed to kind of make it so that this curve is only a little bit smaller than the diameter of those weapons. So ideally they kind of brush up against this and can't get any real bite. Unfortunately, my weapon sticks out past those, and it's spinning about half the speed of his. So if he actually hits my weapon, I usually get launched. So you can see there were a few times that these were working. I was able to get the upper hand of those. It looks like he took one of the 3 wires that drive my weapon motor out, but my wheels still both work perfectly. Everything is fine other than that. I just lost 1 titanium fork on this side. Carbon fiber tops slightly damaged, but I've got spares. Honestly, not too bad.
So yeah, that one didn't exactly go to plan. This first hit was a pretty good indication I was going to be losing most of the weapon-on-weapon engagements here because, like I said, my tip speed is nowhere close to the speed of that Fingertech beater bar. Now, I had a couple other issues that I discovered here. First off, once again, the little nubs sticking off the back of my armor were making it harder to self-right than usual. I also think that there are some speed controller settings that need to change to make it a little easier because it was having a much harder time self-righting here than it was in my test box, even regarding that I had worse geometry. And you can see there were a few engagements here where, like, in past versions of Division I probably would have gotten launched, but at least like 2 or 3 of these engagements I was able to kind of just like skitter backwards instead of getting completely destroyed. But yeah, ultimately the only thing that really went wrong was he was able to cut one of the phase wires going to my brushless motor. Probably this rapid spinning here kind of caused centripetal force to pull it out, and then shortly afterwards one of these hits he severed that wire, and then I was dead in the water and couldn't self-right anymore. So that was pretty much that.
Hi, I'm Tyler. This is my robot, Dread Hades.
Do you mind speaking up a bit?
Oh yeah, this is my robot, Dread Hades, and we recently fought Team Just Cause's Division in a spectacular match. So basically what happened is the first couple seconds of the match, I wanted to test who had the higher tip speed on the weapon.
It was definitely not me.
When we went head-to-head and he went flying, I just decided to follow up on that. He got some good shots here at the tire, but if I could keep him like unstable and gyro rotating, I thought we could keep on him, and we did. It was a good match.
It was a really good fight. I apparently did this to their weapon axle. This is a different one they replaced, and Ray Billings, who's by the way, had to cut it in half to get it off, but it wasn't broken in the fight, so his weapon kept working. It was still really good. Really, I mean, it wasn't that close, but maybe if my bot's phase wire on the weapon motor hadn't broken off, it could have been.
You know, it's always about getting that lucky hit, the right time at the right way.
He somehow managed to make it so that it unplugged and broke just the bullet connector off, but nothing else happened.
I'd always rather be lucky than good. That you know.
Yeah, it was a great fight. Thank you very much. No shame losing to Tyler Wynn. Obviously, he's one of the most decorated drivers, even though he is only 12 years old in the entire sport. So we have the bot on here just so I can show that the drive works on both sides perfectly fine. A little bit of sharp edges in the bottom. Alright, so I learned a couple things in that fight. Number one, the forks don't do that great against weapons that are twice my speed. I kind of knew that already. Number two, the TPU butt did its job very well. There's still some nicks here, and there's a pretty deep gash here, but the chassis didn't bend at all. It looks perfectly flat, other than this corner here where he got a nice shot that hit the fork, and it kind of bent it down into here. And same on the other side. I could probably fix that with a hammer. He took off one titanium fork. He danged up a lot of this. The wheels, both, I think this one definitely must have taken a hit a couple times, and it looks fine. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with how this did despite losing the fight, because it showed that it can, in fact, kind of work. So yeah, just gotta swap the battery and put a new fork on here, maybe bend this chassis back into shape, and should be good to go. Also, I have to fix the weapon motor. That came loose. Obviously, this wire must have just nicked it, because these are kind of sticking out back here. Should be easy enough to fix. Just need to replace this top panel and wire shorter with bullet connectors onto here.
Let's go.
Thanks to Johnny from Spartan. He's lending me this motor and letting me break it so I can have a bullet connector.
Yeah, to YouTube star Seth Schaefer from Team Just Cause Robotics.
Thank you, Johnny.
Time to thank this video's sponsor, PCBWay. Not only did PCBWay manufacture these custom PCBs that I designed that are running all of the electronics inside of my bot, but on top of that, they also provided me with this. This is going to be the billet chassis that I use in April for Division version 3.1. They made 2 of these for me with a quick turnaround, fantastic machining quality. Tolerances on this part are within like 3/1000ths on every single dimension, even ones that I spec'd plus or minus 20 thousandths of an inch, and I'm really impressed with the quality of this aluminum part. This is machined out of a solid, roughly 4-pound block of aluminum, and the final part is only 6.5 ounces of aluminum left. But they were able to get all these tight, hard-to-reach spots, and a really, really nice service finish overall. Really happy with the quality. check out PCBWay at PCBWay.com and follow the link in the description so that you can get a discount and I get a little bit of a kickback when you order.
I just took the forks off and I bent the sides more or less back into shape. They're not perfect, but they'll be fine for switching TPU mounts onto. I'm glad I'm using TPU instead of something that's rigid like nylon, because then it wouldn't sit flush anymore. Weapon works, drive works, everything seems to be good. Oh look, you got a nice little hit on the motor can there. How about that? So yeah, I'm gonna put a better fork setup on, and then I should be good to go. Throw it in the test box, make sure everything's functioning perfectly, and then go to my fight.
My next opponent was Clyde. Clyde is this wide orange robot you see here. It is one of the many WPI team bots that are always pretty competitive at this competition. And I wanted to show you this fight that Clyde had earlier in the day, because this is the configuration I assumed Clyde would be running against me. Now, unlike most of the bots at Norwalk Havoc, unlike all of the spinners and lifters, Clyde's active weapon is simply a jet of flame. It has a butane canister inside of it that spits out fire for the first 30 to 40 seconds of a fight, and it's mostly just a control bot, as you can see here, to great effect. Now, I had thought that Clyde would be running these hinged forks against me, because as a vertical spinner bot, that's the typical sort of setup that I would have expected. However, they actually decided to run a big flat wedge. So I decided, because I thought that I was just going to lose the fork game, since I measured my longest forks against theirs and they were shorter than their forks, that I would just run with the 2 center static titanium forks and lose the hinged forks altogether. This would give me the maximum driving control in the fight. Now, originally I was going to run the disc weapon, but Jameson Go was nearby and he's a better strategist than me. So I asked him what he thought, and he said I should just use my lightest weapon that I already had planned to use for beater bars and such, because that gives me the least gyro when steering, so I have the best chance of staying on top of a control bot like Clyde. So I decided to go with that, and, well, you'll see what the result was coming up.
3, 2, 1, fight robots, fight! 2 minutes remaining. $90 seconds remaining. Clyde, do you want to try it? Clyde, do you want to try it on stick? Like a wall? There we go, there's your one. Seconds remaining.
Alright, I think I'm done.
There we go.
That's the match! Please card in your robot or weapons and make your way to the door. The winner by unanimous judge decision is Division.
This battle was a ton of fun and a lot of back and forth. This is definitely one of the most challenging fights that I've ever driven in, and I think that Division showed that while obviously it's still very difficult to control and I didn't have perfect control in this fight, that it was at least capable of going toe-to-toe with a control bot for the first time ever, really. I just had to get a lucky bounce on his wedge or get under him like one time to nick it, and after that it was a lot easier for me to get underneath it and launch him across the box. So this ended up being pretty entertaining, and of course the footage looks epic because of all of the flames. I'll definitely make sure to slow down a few of the nicer hits in this, but I don't want to show the entire fight again because 3 minutes is kind of a while.
I'm Gabriel Brown. I'm one of the builders of Claude, along with my brother Alex. It was a really great fight. At the start, we definitely had control. We were getting under Division, but once he got under us a little bit, you can see those little dents in our wedge. He was able to slide right underneath. And once the bottom got cut up, he kept on getting to get underneath us, and we can do the thing where we get stuck on this space. So that happened quite a few times, which scored him a lot of aggression and control points. And there was a lot of great damage, a huge cutout of our wedge here. It's a 1.5 millimeter tie, so that was scary. And then there's cuts all around on the bottom, along the back. You can see the back is completely torn up. And we actually have a butane can right here. So if these cuts went a little deeper, it would have hit the butane can. And if this cut right here went a little deeper, it would have hit the butane can as well. So that's scary. We wish we exploded because that would be fun. But yeah, it was a great fight. Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was excellent. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Now, because Division finally saw success, I'm doing something that I've done in the past with Division, which is to sell full access to the entire CAD model and assembly for every part of the bot. This time I went even a couple steps further. Not only am I including the entire CAD model so that you could literally copy the bot if you want to, but I'm also including already made DXF laser cutting files for every single one of the flat panel components and the weapons, and they have the part name, whether it's in inches or millimeters, and what material and thickness you need to cut out in the file names. And on top of that, for free, if you pull open the store page for which I am selling the CAD assembly, you can actually click this link here and open up the full bill of materials and see exactly what parts went into the bot for the weapon motors, drive motors, speed controllers, and every single screw and piece of hardware in the robot. So make sure to check that out if you're interested in how I made Division. If you want to make a copy of it, I would recommend against that because it's unbelievably difficult to drive. It's taken me 3 years to get halfway competent at it. But if you really wanted to copy it, you could, and I would strongly recommend using this as a learning tool if you're new to bot building, or if you just wanted to see what design decisions that I made that went into the drive system, which is pretty unique on this bot, or the weapon system that makes it so reliable. The weapon system never quit in any of my fights except for the Dread Hades fight where a wire was cut, and the drive system never died until Lynx hit it. So I think that speaks for itself in terms of the durability of this bot at this point, and it has proven to be astoundingly reliable considering how awkward of a design it is. I'm really happy with how Division performed, and I want everyone else to be able to perform at the highest level too, and I think this is a good way for you to learn what you need in order to do so. On top of that, of course, I have tons of guides and tutorials on my YouTube channel, which you should make sure to check out. So, if you like this video, click like, and if you want to see the follow-up where I get to show my last 4 fights of the event, including a rematch with Fully Defined from March, a fight against the bot that beat Lynx in the beginning of the tournament, fight against Lynx himself, and, of course, a fight against one of the esteemed Minotaur team members from Brazil who were all at this competition in force this season, make sure to check out part 2 coming up hopefully next week. That's all I've got for you today. Thanks for watching.